Welcome to Enlightened Evolution.
I'm Cay.
And I'm Christina.
We're here to discuss the ebb and flow of our soul's healing and transformation through self-reflection, choosing intentionally, honoring thyself, and following your inner guide.
Thank you for joining this safe space with us.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to Enlightened Evolution with Cay and Christina. Today we're going to do Am I the Asshole? Or sometimes just people ask for advice. We'll see what we have going on today. I have a subject and then you have a couple, so I think it'll be fun. Christina didn't tell me which one she's doing, so I like surprises. So my point of view is just going to be very on the fly.
Okay.
Do you have anything fun planned? I know
I
you're going
certainly
out of
do.
town next week, but other than that?
Yes. Jordan has the weekend off, so we are doing stuff together. We're going hiking tomorrow, which I'm really excited.
Nice.
And I forgot to mention in our last episode the strength I feel in my body. Like, I just move different since I've been working out. And like, I was climbing hills up and down a neighborhood yesterday and I felt good. Like, I felt strong. I felt like my body was capable of doing what I was doing. And before I started working out, like, it was like, oh, I'm so out of breath to go up a flight of stairs. And so just noticing those differences is really nice.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to do a little shopping for our trip. We are going to Vegas. So we're super excited about that. I'll have lots to share with y'all when I get back. Do you have any fun plans?
I have like a week off work, just how I did my schedule, and I don't have any plans. And so I love that for myself because I always have plans. I mean, yeah, I love the fact that I don't have any. I think I'm going to go see my grandma today, but other than that, no plans here. I'm going to relax. I'm going to clean. I'm going to purge. I have a room I want to get together and redo. So, yeah, nothing big. But I do love when I start feeling and noticing how strong I am after working out a certain amount of time. So I love that for you. That's what keeps me motivated to keep going.
Yes. And I try to not focus on the scale so much because
Yeah,
the scale and me don't always get along. Like, I'm building muscle as I'm losing fat. I feel better in my clothing. I notice more definition when I'm in the mirror, so I'm going off of those things. The scale has budged a little, which is great. But of course, like, women's and men's metabolisms are so different. And Jordan is in the gym for like 2 weeks and loses 5 pounds. And it took me like a month and a half to lose 5 pounds. So,
yeah,
which is fine. Actually, my trainer said to lose a pound a week. So,
oh, good. Yeah, that's. Are you a pop drinker?
I mean, historically, yes. I do love a Coke. Like, if I'm having a midday crash, I will probably have a Coke, but I don't drink pop on a daily basis.
Yeah. I was just curious. We didn't touch on that in the being healthy episode, so I was just curious if you're a pop drinker. I know that's like the biggest struggle for people is like quitting drinking pop. I've never been a pop drinker, but I can imagine it'd be like coffee. I'm not quitting my coffee in the morning.
Yeah. And I do have a Mountain Dew, like, the first day of my period. It's like my ceremonial
Really?
Mountain Dew. I do. It just does something for my body.
Actually, I think a couple weeks ago when we were recording, you were drinking a Mountain Dew, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but I do try to avoid it. And I don't drink, like, even though I'm watching my calorie intake and like decreasing my carbohydrates, I will not drink diet sodas because I hate aspartame and I absolutely just won't. I'll just have less soda, but I don't drink them super often, thankfully.
Yeah.
It wasn't too hard to quit for me. And I can only drink water with my retainer, so
Oh, yeah.
here we are. It really has
Mhm.
reduced a lot of my other intake, which I guess is fine.
What do you got for us today? I'm ready for my
Okay,
surprise.
okay. I'm very interested to see your reaction to this one.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for inviting my family to my daughter's wedding the day before?
Okay.
My daughter and her fiance wanted to have an intimate wedding with just parents, siblings, and officiants. I traveled 800 miles to attend her wedding. She lives near my sister and my niece and nephew, but chose not to invite them. The day before the ceremony, I put them all in a group text and sent them a picture of the invite my daughter had given me. I told them, be there or be square. My daughter found out about this later that day when my nephew texted her asking what attire to wear to the wedding. Now my daughter is furious with me. Am I the asshole?
That sounds like a familiar story.
Yes.
And yeah, you're the asshole. It's
Yeah,
not
you're definitely the asshole.
ma'am, it's
This
not your
happened to me.
wedding. You're
I had to throw this one in there because I was like, this is hilarious. And this is when Jordan asked me, he was like, did your mom listen to the podcast? And I was like, no, she's not gonna hear this. But we addressed it, obviously. Like I told her how furious I was. And she did apologize.
but, like, whether it's your mom or somebody else, people that overstep like this, why do you think that you can impose an overstep and insert yourself and your beliefs and your decision making on other people's lives, days, whatever it is? It's like your special day. If you wanted somebody there or didn't, it's up to like, I just did she, like, recognize why her behavior was inappropriate? Just because people apologize, it doesn't mean they are really sorry.
Right. No, and pretty much the majority of apologies I've gotten from her is not her understanding what she did. She's just saying sorry to say sorry. But then that's all she said was, "I'm sorry." She didn't say, "Oh, I see how that could have really stressed you out, and I understand why you just want a few people." It's not that I didn't want my aunt and my cousins there. I would love everyone to be there, but Jordan didn't get to invite anyone from his family because we wanted it to be intimate and small and not have to worry about hosting a bunch of people and all those things that make the day so stressful.
Mhm.
And I felt after that felt so horrible because of course my cousin texted me like, "Hey, I I'm honored to come, but it's kind of last minute, what do you want me to wear?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I feel so." And that's what I explained to my mom. I felt like such an asshole for not inviting them, and then you go invite them and I have to say, "Actually, I didn't invite you because we aren't inviting family." But I told my mom, I was like, "You have to re-message them and tell them all that you were not supposed to invite them and that it's your fault. Like, I shouldn't be the asshole because you decided
Mhm.
to step way out of bounds and do this thing."
I don't
Yeah.
see, this is why you're just better than me. Because after that, my mom wouldn't even have came to my wedding. I would've been so pissed.
It did cross my mind.
Like, I would have been so upset if someone would have done
Yeah.
that to me, so working on my anger still every single day, trying to be more forgiving, but I think in that moment, I would have been like, "Absolutely not."
Oh, I mean, I was furious. I was bawling, like, I was
Mhm.
losing it because a wedding, no matter what, is a stressful you want everything to go right,
Yeah.
and it's just a stressful day. And I'll tell you, like, I stand by eloping or having a very tiny wedding as opposed to a full-blown wedding. My girlfriend at work, her daughter just had a wedding, and it was, the full-blown they had a venue, they had a wedding planner, all the things,
Mhm.
super expensive. And it still did not go the way they intended. Their wedding planner didn't show up, then their officiant didn't show up.
Oh my
Like, so many
god.
things. You think if you're paying all this money for this venue and this wedding planner, like, if I'm paying a wedding planner, I shouldn't have to worry about a thing. And it still there were so many issues that day, and I was like, "You've just confirmed for me that I would never wanna do that."
Mm-mm. I've never been married, and I certainly would not do a big wedding.
Yeah,
I would never do that. Mm-mm. So, yeah, she's the asshole for that.
agreed.
I'm glad you guys can work
What do
through it, though. I know that you're pretty vocal now with how you
Yeah,
feel, telling your mom about how you feel, and you're tactful, I think, in your delivery to people.
I
So
am. And I think her new husband helped her to react. I don't think he knew what she was doing,
mhm.
because we had literally went to dinner with them that night and talked about why we only invited the people we invited, and then she went behind my back and invited them even though we just
Even
discussed
after
it.
that conversation, oh, she deserved to get cussed out.
Yeah. I think him being there, he's really helped her to not, because probably previous her, she would have went off on me and been like, "Well, why isn't my family invited?" and blah blah blah. Ma'am, your family doesn't even talk to you. So start with that.
Ugh.
But I will tell you, so she got married after we did, and I did
Mhm.
this funny little thing. She created like I created an invite like on Canva or whatever just to send to the couple people that went to our wedding, just for them to have something if they wanted a keepsake or something. She did the same thing before her wedding, and she had a very intimate wedding. It was just her, her husband, and their kids. So us and his
Mhm.
kids. That's it. So she sends me the little invite she created like the 2 days before her wedding.
Mhm.
And she's like, "Oh, I just created this." And I was like, "Oh, do you want me to invite some people the day before your wedding?" And she was like, "Oh, no, no, we just really want to keep it small." Like
Oh,
totally didn't catch
okay.
it. And I was like, "No, I'm joking, mom, because that's what you did to me." And she's like, "Oh, I forgot about that."
Sometimes, like, I just don't have any more words for it.
That's why I had to bring this one into the episode because it's just so
Mhm.
funny. So funny to
It
me.
is.
All right, what do you have for us?
Okay, this I found. It says, husband doesn't want his wife to reconnect with her 15-year-old daughter because of the daughter's behavior. He believes that she will ruin their perfect marriage. My, so here we
Perfect
go.
marriage. Okay.
Mm. My wife and I are expecting our first child. She technically has a daughter from a previous relationship, but she signed her over to the father when she was born. She doesn't have legal rights or custody or anything like that. She started having the girl over within the last 5 years because she felt bad that the father is gone a lot and wanted to help her with life skills and to be a parent. I've tried to be understanding, but this kid is 15 now and fully understands the situation, just how much she can get away with. She shows no respect for the house and just uses us. Any attempt at a boundary or leads to her storming off to God knows where. And unlike with a child that she's actually a parent to, she can't stop her. She'll call my wife her mom and play pretend when she wants her to lie for her for something she wants, but will turn around the next day with, "You're not actually my mom and I can do whatever I want." She vapes, does God knows what on her phone, and has given our address to tons of people we don't know to give her rides to and from. I haven't wanted to put a stop to this because I feel bad for both my wife and her, but with a baby coming, this is quickly getting unstable. Our child deserves a safe, stable home with a routine and expectations. We can't be a getaway or potential party house for a legal stranger that doesn't respect us anyway. It's a huge liability, and we all have deserved better. Her father doesn't care and isn't going to do anything. I've been trying to broach this conversation that this girl needs to either drastically change or stay away, and it's not going well. My wife is upset because she has so many regrets and thinks this is the only way she can do something by this girl. My mom thinks I should be making sure she stays away by any means necessary and that I'm downplaying how unsafe this is. We've been fighting all week about it. I know she feels guilty, but this has to change, doesn't it?
You, sir, are the asshole. What do you think? Asshole or not?
Yeah, girl.
He sounds very naive. He sounds like he doesn't know what it's that's a teenager. He just described a teenager. Have
Mhm.
you never met a teenager? Your child that you're having in your perfect marriage, which I doubt is perfect, is also gonna be a teenager one day, and they're gonna do this shit too.
So, coming from a single mom with someone that has a 15-year-old child, he does all these things. And
Yeah,
and not to say that you can't guide them or say, "Hey, you shouldn't be vaping. You can't do this in my home. There's a certain set of rules, and if you disrespect these rules, you're gonna lose privileges," and, like, all those things that you do to parent a child.
parenting. Right.
But I it's really concerning. I don't think that this marriage is gonna last between them because at the end of the day, she's going to choose her children. She maybe and we don't have a lot of context from her side of the story. We don't have any from her
Yeah.
side of the story, so I don't know, did she have her child very young and sign over all rights to the father because she, you know, had some substance abuse issues and now she's gotten her life together and she's now at a place where she can be a healthy presence in this child's life. Like she probably did the right thing by that child at the time, and now that she's in a good place to be a parent, she's also having another child. Of course you feel guilty. Of course you want to be there. Like I commend her for trying to show up for her daughter. The daughter probably has a lot of trauma from knowing that her mom wasn't a part of her life, hence the daughter said, "You're not
Absolutely.
my mom." Like, so she's wants her mom so bad, and then when she gets mad at her, of course she's gonna throw that in there because that's what an immature teenager does, that doesn't know how to process their trauma yet.
Yes.
So for him to say, like, "Have her go away," like, that's wild. He's gonna have a rude awakening when she leaves him.
Yes, he sounds very immature, very naive, doesn't understand what happens with kids, and everything you said, there's this family needs, I think, some family therapy. They need
Mhm.
to rebuild connections. Of course, this teenager probably has a lot of hurt from being abandoned by her mother. We don't know why she lost her parental rights. I mean, that's a little bit of a red flag to me. I don't think I'd want to have a child with someone that lost their parental rights, especially a mother. That's very rare that they lose their parental rights.
Did it say parental rights or she signed over custody?
She signed over custody, so we don't know that it was like court ordered,
Mhm.
you can't
Right,
have,
yeah, we
but
don't know why.
and then, of course, there's, like, adoption type situations and different things and, like, informal adoptions. So
Mhm.
I get that to a degree, but it's very hard for those parents to re-enter the life of the child that they have not been a parent to for so long. And
Yeah.
you, sir, do not understand what parenting is, obviously.
Yeah, like, what is he gonna do when his child starts to do these things? Is he just gonna kick
Yeah.
his own
Teenagers
child out of the house? Are
rebel.
you gonna abandon your own child? If you
Right.
married this woman and she has a child from a previous relationship, you should love and support that the best of your
Yeah,
ability. And
absolutely.
it sounds like he needs some parenting classes himself. Needs to find
Absolutely.
some resources, read some books on how to become a better parent, and he can start by being more supportive of their relationship before he, potentially ruins the relationship between him and his own
Yeah.
future child. So, oof. Yeah, that was wild to me that and I would also like to add that his mother gets no say.
No, and the fact that he mentioned his mother cues me in. I when I hear how people write these, I'm like, "You mentioned what your mother said." Like, he might be that type that's like, a mama's boy, still on the teat.
Yeah, and I think men that were raised by healthy women and have a good standing relationship and keep in contact with them, they I think statistically treat their wives better and their daughters better.
Absolutely.
And however, there's some that calling my mom for everything. She's always butting in, like that mama's boy that's just over the top, allows,
Mhm.
why is this, he probably lets his mom disrespect his wife and
Right. That's yeah, kinda
mm-mm.
crossing lines.
I wish that there was an update to that. I want to see how this plays out for like the
I
next ten
know.
years. I want a monthly update on this.
Right?
I don't have any updates though, but hmm, yeah, he's the asshole.
Agreed. Okay. This one, it's a little bit long, so bear with me. It's a couple paragraphs. And both of the other ones that I picked out, they are not my stories like the first one, but they are something that I've kind of had some experience with in my life. So this one's titled, Am I the Asshole for Insisting on Having a Best Woman? So this is a man writing in. He wants to have a best woman in
I
his wedding.
almost chose this one too.
Oh, you saw
I'm
it?
so
Okay,
glad
awesome.
that you have this. Okay, yes.
Okay, so let me read it. Obviously, fake names are being used. Male 28 just proposed to his fiance, 26 female, calling her Sarah. So, fiance is Sarah. He says, I have one child from my wife that passed away in 2021 from the virus. That's sad. And especially so young. He's only
Mhm.
28. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. He says, I honestly never thought I'd find love again, but I did. The problem is, my fiance doesn't want my best friend Zara, 29 female, to be my best woman. For context, my best friend and I have been friends since we were about 7 years old. She and her family moved in next door, and we both bonded over not having the best family situations. We've always had quite a sibling bond, and even people who don't know us sometimes mistake us for siblings because of how we interact. He says, I love Zara like a sister. She was there for me when my mom passed away, when my wife passed away in 2021. She used to bring over food for my son and I. She and her boyfriend and now husband would take him out of the house if I just needed alone time, and my son adores her. She's been there for me at my worst, and I wanted her to be a part of the new chapter in my life. The problem is, my fiance really isn't her biggest fan. When they first met, Sarah said that when she spoke, she sounded rude and condescending, which is kind of true because Zara has a much deeper voice than most women, and she's on the spectrum, so she sounds very monotonous at times. I've explained to Sarah that she thinks, or I've explained this to Sarah, but she thinks it's just an excuse. I was with Sarah the first time they met, and she didn't say anything rude or condescending. She's also very sarcastic, so pair that with her voice, and people think she's rude. She's actually very kind. She offers to take Sarah out for girls' nights when she and her other girlfriends go out. She's made an effort to bond with her, but according to Sarah, they just don't click, which I was fine with because not everyone has to like each other. It's not like they're rude to each other or fight, but they're quite friendly and cordial. Sarah and I were discussing the wedding plans the other day, and I brought up that I'd like to have Zara as my best woman, and Sarah shot down the idea. When I asked why she didn't want Zara to stick out among the other groomsmen, I assumed maybe she didn't want Zara to wear a dress because she loves her dresses. So I told her she'd be fine wearing a suit, but she said no. And I got confused and asked why she didn't want Zara in the wedding party. And she said she didn't want her in the wedding party at all. She didn't want to give her friends and other people the wrong impression of him, which he felt was very childish. I insisted that I wanted Zara as my best woman because, as much as I consider my fiance my best friend and want to make her happy, Zara is also an important person in my life and I want her by my side. She got frustrated and isn't speaking to me anymore, and her friends think that this means that there's something going on between me and Zara. So, is he the asshole?
No.
I say no. I say that people are childish and they don't realize that men and women can be friends. I know we've done a whole episode on this.
So, do you know anybody that has been the best woman in a wedding?
Me.
Okay.
I have been a best woman in a couple that we knew. They're
Yeah.
now divorced. I was the
And
best
sh
woman in that wedding.
and she handled
And
that well.
she handled it very well. But at the time, I had no idea that she was upset by it too. And I had no
She
idea.
was. She was. She was at
I
the
didn't
time, she was one of my best friends, and she was so giving and understanding and empathetic to her partner that if you made
Mhm.
him happy from a best friend standpoint, because you were married at the time, it was
Mhm.
almost the same situation.
It's scary
Exact
how
same.
similar it is.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you chose this because I read through this last night and she handled it so gracefully and lovingly.
She
And
did, and she was always so sweet to me, and, like, I never, ever knew that she kind of felt the way she did about our friendship. Now, I will say for her, like, I think her intuition was speaking to her because although that person had been my friend since we were 7 years old,
yeah.
um, he was always a friend and a brother to me. But I think there were times and I think probably his whole life, there were times he wanted it to be more,
Mhm.
and like, I think when we were in junior high, he might have asked me to be his girlfriend, and I was like, "Absolutely not, you're my
Yeah.
brother." And he never asked me again, and he never, like, tried to pursue that anymore, but I think she sensed deep down what his feelings were for
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah.
I get that. So, in this situation, that girl maybe could be sensing that as well, I don't know.
Right. Or maybe that
I don't
she
know.
feels that Zara has feelings for him. Maybe something like that
Right.
as well. But
Yeah.
if Zara's married and she's been there for him, like, through got the death of his mother and his sister, and she's kinda like an auntie to his wife, his ex-wife, excuse me, and she's kinda like an auntie to his son, it's like, she's family at that point,
Mhm.
and if they've always had, like, a platonic relationship, that would be hard. I can also see the other girl's point of view from a
Yeah.
place where I've like, maybe it's her trauma speaking to her, and she's been in past relationships where I've never been in a relationship where with a man that has had female friends and it's been safe.
Mhm.
So if she's coming from that point of view, I could see that, but it sounds like she's not really, like, self-reflecting why she doesn't want this woman to be in the wedding party. She even said, "How is it gonna make you look?" She's more concerned with the appearance and not the importance
Right.
of Zara to him as a friend, and
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard one, but I don't think I mean, the way he described it, it sounds like it's strictly platonic for him.
yeah.
It sounds like she's a sister to him, and I don't think he's the asshole for wanting that.
No, I don't, and I think that it's really good that this woman is speaking up about what she wants before
Mhm.
they get married, so she doesn't harbor some resentment on in the relationship and marry him and then feel like she didn't have the wedding of her dreams and then resent him
Yeah.
for it, and she never speaks up when, this obviously the friendship makes her uncomfortable, and then he is like, "This person is important to me, I love her, she's gonna be a part of my life, she's like my sister to me," and if this woman isn't comfortable with that, like, that's okay. She doesn't have to be with him or stay with him. They don't have to continue this relationship, and he shouldn't sacrifice a friendship with her
Yeah,
for his future wife if she's truly that important, if Zara's
and
truly
I
that
think
important.
I don't know if this would work for this couple. Another possible solution to this problem is don't have a wedding party. Plenty of people do that. Don't have anyone
Mhm.
stand up on either side, just the two of you stand up. Then no one's offended. Nobody's, there invite the people that you want to be there. Invite the people that would have been in your wedding party and have them as guests. Everyone's on an equal playing field and just the
Mhm.
two of you be up there because that's what this wedding is about is the two of you.
Yeah. Word.
But I know people get stuck on having bridesmaids and all the things.
Mhm. I don't even have enough friends for that.
And let me tell you, as we know, I've been married a few times. The people that were in my wedding parties, very few of them am I still friends with.
Mhm.
So, what does that tell you?
Yeah, I hear
Don't
you.
have a don't have a wedding party. That's my PSA.
Don't have friends. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, the real life example that I have of that, like, I felt so bad finding out afterwards that was not happy about it. But to
Go
her
ahead.
credit, like,
Yeah.
I never knew that she didn't want me to be that.
How
She's
did you
so
find
sweet. She's
out?
such a sweet
Yeah,
person.
she is.
I don't think it came out until after they divorced and he told
Mm,
me, like,
mhm.
"Oh, actually, she didn't want you to be my best woman."
Making her the bad guy. Like, oh, she never did like, did he do it in a way that was like, "Oh, she didn't like you anyways," or
No.
because
No, and honestly, he didn't. Like, I know
good.
we're not a big fan of that person anymore, but he didn't make her to sound like the bad guy. I guess it was just kind of a passing conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, she was definitely not the bad guy.
No, definitely not. Okay, I have one more,
Let me
and
ask
of
you one more
course
question about that.
oh,
If
yeah.
you would have known that she didn't want you to stand up for him in the wedding, how would you have approached it? If you would have known before they got
I
married.
Mhm. So him and I actually like, I got married the week before him, and then he got married the week after me.
Was he in your wedding?
Yes, but he was not on my side. He stood on my groom's side. I would have been completely understanding. I didn't need to be in the wedding party whatsoever. I
Mhm.
didn't feel like I needed to stand on her side with her bridesmaids. I didn't feel like I needed to be on his side. I do know that I was his closest friend for his whole life and a sister to him, but he also had a sister who was
True.
not his
Oh,
best
true.
man. I think his sister might have stood up on her side as a bridesmaid, but I'm not quite sure. I don't remember that part. But I
Um,
would have been completely understanding.
yeah. I was in that
And I
wedding. I
almost
can't remember if his I don't think his sister
You
was.
were in that wedding?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know, wasn't that nuts? Yeah, it was.
I don't think I have any pictures anymore of that day.
I don't either.
Damn.
I know. Okay, moving on.
Okay. So this last one, I picked it out yesterday. It's already deleted off of Reddit, but I remember it. So I'll give you a summary.
Okay.
Cuz this is also something that I'm recently dealing with.
Oh.
Am I the Yes. We'll get into that. Am I the asshole for not sharing my social security number with my partner? So, me and my boyfriend of 3 months had an argument the other day because my partner asked me for my social security number. And when I asked him why, he would not tell me. And so I asked him again, and he got angry with me and still would not tell me why he wanted my social security number. So I felt like this was a big question to ask, and I wasn't quite comfortable sharing my social security number with him just yet, as we're not married. But finally, he gave up that he was wanting to add me to his insurance because he has really good insurance and mine sucks. While we are both pretty well off, he sells insurance and he knows a lot more about it than I do. So I trust that he knows more, but I still did not quite feel comfortable sharing my social security number with him. I We do have intentions to possibly get married someday, and things are very serious between us. We do not currently live together. I feel bad for upsetting him, but I just don't feel comfortable sharing that information with him right now. Is she the asshole?
No, that's your intuition, girl.
First of all, I'm
Ma'am.
pretty certain you can't add someone to your insurance unless you're married.
Correct.
I know you
Unless she didn't specify though, because you can add somebody
Right.
to your auto insurance. Maybe he wanted to do that and like pay
Mm.
her auto insurance every month because from personal experience in a relationship I was in, I added them and their child to my auto insurance and it saved him like $1,000 a month or something crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't medical.
I know, I wish she would, because when I read it, I thought medical insurance, and I'm like, I don't think you can do that." But it also could have been, then I'm thinking, I'm like, "What if he wants to pull a life insurance policy on her, and then he wants to murder her?"
True that. And you've been for one, you've been
What's
together
too much
right.
crime?
You've been together for 3 months. You don't know this
Red
person.
flag number 1.
And
No!
number 2, if he
I was
wants to
married to someone for 7 years and didn't know that that person was then going to steal my identity
right,
and use my information to steal more money from me.
right, that's awful. And she mentioned that it was like a surprise or something. Okay,
Yeah.
cash at me. Buy me some flowers, send some edible arrangements. Take me to Ulta. Hey, Macy's is cool. Why do you need to surprise me with adding me to your insurance policy
Right, and then
and need my social security number and then get mad at me because I won't provide it because you don't do you wanna give me your social security number? Like, do you just
right,
like,
let's make this a fair
what?
trade. It's, all around red flags for me. She's definitely not the asshole. I
No,
mean,
smart
this
girl.
doesn't sound like a healthy relationship. Why are you getting mad at me for not giving you a very viable piece of my information that you could use to destroy my life, really? No,
And
thank
he
you?
could open up credit card accounts. I mean,
Absolutely, and if she's not a person that's, like, conscious of her credit and doesn't, like, think to go look and see,
right.
I mean, he could have accounts open for a long time before she would even notice.
Yeah. I didn't wanna upset him. Well, you're upset. So, he should now work on trying to fix that with you.
Absolutely, and I mean, it sounds like gaslighting, like,
Yeah.
"Why are you asking me these questions when I was trying to do something nice for you?" And it's like, "Okay, then why couldn't you just be upfront with me and say, 'This is what I'm trying to do,' and have that
Yeah,
conversation?"
and it doesn't even need to be like a surprise. That's what got me, is like
Yeah. Flowers are a surprise. Adding me to your insurance, that's something we need to discuss and agree upon.
yeah. And explain it to me. If I put you like, you're younger, if I put you on my insurance, it'll be so much less a month, and like, if that's what he wants to do, I'm assuming you're also going to be paying for that. So, bring that up. Like, I don't know, it was just it was so weird.
Sometimes people write stuff and I'm like, "Is this real? Like,
I
did
know. Well,
this really happen?"
but, you know,
But
I've
nothing
been
surprises me.
no, because when you get romantically involved with people, your emotions, they're not even rational. You don't even think rationally for
Yeah.
so like, it's so it me for myself personally, like, looking at younger versions of myself, it makes me so sad the things that I used to tolerate, and I'm so much more intentional with loving myself now and what I'll allow other people to do or
Mhm.
not do or whatever, and so it just kinda makes me it makes me feel I feel for her that
Yeah.
she obviously, like, loves him and wants to make him happy and doesn't wanna upset him, and it's just, like, we can see that's clear manipulation, something's not right.
Yeah, and I always keep that in top of mind, like, it's so easy to see it from the outside. I know it's not easy to see it when you're in it and you feel
It's
so in love
not.
with that person. You see all the good in them, and
Yep.
you really try to brush the bad under
Y
the rug.
yeah, and you never think, like of course, you're sitting back thinking, "Look, she's probably like, well, I would never use his Social Security number for bad reasons, bad intentions," but
Right.
I mean, but she did say she didn't give it to him, though, so good for her.
Yeah,
So
I'm
b
proud of her for
that is
that.
yeah, that is in the back of her mind that he may, be shady. So something's telling her,
Mhm.
like, not to do it. But we don't always think that people are going to have ill intentions with us because we never would, but they certainly do. And they do it very intentionally sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all of the "Am I the assholes?" I have. They're they're very interesting this time. This was a much requested episode as well, so I hope you guys enjoy
I
it.
love these ones because I like reading
It's a
about
nice
other
little break.
yeah, I like reading about other people's drama a little
Mhm.
bit. I love Reddit because you really do. You can get on there and you can get some clear cut advice about anything from so many different perspectives. And it's
Mhm.
such a good resource for people that don't have a lot of friends or don't want to involve their friends and their family, in their personal business. And it's an open platform where people will be truly authentic in their responses. And it's non biased really because they don't know you.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and listening. We hope that you have a good week and welcome to fall. Let's have a good fall season. Oh, and we're recording this on November 1st, so that portal is wide open right now. Have you been seeing that? The portal for
Yes,
11/1.
yeah.
I just new beginnings, 111's new beginnings. I don't know. I love all
I
that
need
shit.
to I do too. I need to do some meditation today for sure.
Yeah.
Although when this airs, I think we'll be well into December, so happy winter.
Yeah, happy winter. Be coming to see you. Shit.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Namaste.
Namaste.